Well, joining us now for more is Martin Indyck, former U.S. Special Envoy for Israeli-Palestinian negotiations under President Barack Obama and former U.S. Ambassador to Israel under President Bill Clinton. He joins us now from New York. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for joining us again. Well, we just heard a former colleague, Amos Hochstein, tell Israeli television, suggesting a Biden administration may move to what he called a JCPOA minus, meaning you lift some sanctions in exchange for Iran suspending some of its nuclear programs. But I've spoken to other analysts, including other of your former colleagues, suggesting, in fact, the Biden administration may look renegotiate a reinforced Iranian nuclear deal, actually adding more conditions. I mean, how do you see the Biden administration going back and trying to really revive the Iran nuclear deal?
Thank you. Look, I do not speak for anybody in the Biden transition team, certainly not the president-elect. So I'll give you my personal assessment that I think President-elect Biden will want to bring Iran back into the JCPOA because he wants to stop the clock ticking on their march towards a nuclear weapon. And the best way to do that is to get them to comply again with the requirements of JCPOA, which prevents them from enriching uranium or stockpiling it. Obviously, the stockpile they've already got now will have to be moved out again, as it was when the deal was first signed. As part of that, the United States will have to resume its obligations to the JCPOA, which means lifting any multilateral sanctions which were reimposed once Trump left the JCPOA. But there are a whole range of unilateral sanctions that the United States imposed originally because of Iran's support for terrorism, and a lot more have been imposed by the Trump administration. In fact, there's talk now that on the way out, Pompeo is going to impose even more. And so those sanctions, which will exist at the time when Biden comes in, will give him leverage to be able to not only encourage Iran to comply again with its obligations under the JCPOA, but also to use as leverage for a renegotiation or negotiation, not JCPOA minus, but JCPOA plus, that deals with Iran's ballistic missiles, and with its efforts to spread chaos and terror across the region. And I think in that regard, Trump will have done Biden a favor by giving him sanctions that he can take off in return for changes in Iranian attitudes, behavior, and willingness on Iran's part to negotiate meaningful changes in the JCPOA itself.
Right, though the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif has already said re-engagement does not mean renegotiation. And of course, there's going to be opposition if the Republicans especially control the Senate. There'll be opposition in Jerusalem. There'll be opposition maybe among some of the Gulf states. I mean, it's going to be a very difficult a set of circumstances the Biden administration will have to contend with.
Complicated, yes, but not impossible. And I do think that a lot of countries in the region, both the Gulf states and Israel also, will want to find a way to cooperate with President-elect Biden because their objectives are the same. The question is how to go about it. I think under Trump, the hidden agenda of Pompeo and Bolton before he resigned and Prime Minister Netanyahu was regime change. That is not going to be the Biden agenda. But I think that he will be able, as I said, to use the leverage that Trump will have bequeathed him to get the kind of deal that should satisfy the concerns of America's Arab and Israeli allies.